Hello, everyone. Let everyone come in and get settled, say hello, and then we'll go ahead and get started in just a minute or two. I hope that my air conditioning in the background isn't too loud. Unfortunately, I'm not. We're just going to let it go if it is, because otherwise I won't get through my card tonight. Hello, Penny. Hi, Shirley. Hi. Hello, Ms. Dello. That is a new person tonight. Hello, hello. How are you this evening? How is everyone doing? It's so hot here. So we're not going to turn off my air conditioning tonight. Like, it is so hot. Yay. I'm so glad, Penny. Penny says she can't hear my air conditioner, so yay. Oh, thank you so much, Susan. I hope you enjoy it too. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Wow, so many on tonight. Yay. Okay, so first things first, we do have a new bundle for tonight. And tonight's card is it's going to be quick. Hi, Pam. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Everyone says the air conditioner isn't too loud. So, yeah. Tonight's card project is going to be pretty quick, which means we can kind of take our time. We can chit chat because we have an hour, and we're also going to do a ton of heat embossing tonight. So for some of tonight's live, it's going to be like a little bit loud and noisy, right? Because we're going to have our heat gun going. So tonight's bundle is linked in the description box below. If you use that link, it is an affiliate link, which means then Christopher knows you came to my live and you bought something at my live, and yay. Okay, and we have an awesome free gift tonight if you purchase the bundle. So tonight's bundle comes with Coral Reef 6x6 inch paper collection and a pack of the Coral Reef chipboard pieces. We're going to play with those chipboard pieces as well. It also comes with this really large 6x8 stamp set. Has loads of just really cute little elements, different things. And I have the card name dies. We are actually just going to use a sentiment from this stamp set tonight, but you'll get the whole stamp set if you order the bundle. Then we have embossing powders. We have Alabaster White, which is my absolute favorite embossing powder ever. We have Jade and Orange Peel. And then the free gift tonight, if you order the bundle, you get a little bag. We're going to use this. You can get all the static off of your papers before you heat emboss, so everything, you don't get that like extra embossing powder everywhere. I have just a little bulldog clip from an office supply store that I keep. And you can also grab the refills. I have had them and I haven't needed to refill it yet, but you get one of these powder bags free with your order tonight. Oh wow, everyone's like chit-chatting. Wait, hello to everyone. Susan asks how hot it is. It's 90 here, which I'm in Pennsylvania, so that's a lot for us. And it's also like 65% humidity. So Candy's here. Hi, Candy. Pam says, I'm breaking up. Yes, some nights we have gremlins, and I'm hoping the gremlins go away. We had a pretty good live last time without any troubles. So hopefully the gremlins will work themselves out. That's my hope. My hope. I have kicked everybody off the internet at my house, so I have all of the bandwidth, and so there's nothing much more I can do with it from my end. Yes. Pam says it's going to be 100 here tomorrow in Jersey. Yeah, it's going to be close to that here too. So good. I'm hoping it clears up. We're going to do our best. Okay, so let's get started on our card. So if you have never used the chipboard from Brutus Monroe before, I'm going to tell you a little story, a little chipboard story. So for the entirety of my crafting years, and I've been crafting for years, 24 years to be exact. I started scrapbooking in 2001. So I never liked chipboard, like from the jump. Just stay away from me. I always thought that it smelled. I always thought that it was too thick, and it just never liked it. Never. And then when Christopher started doing this chipboard, he was like, trust me, just trust me. So I was like, all right. So I trusted him, and it paid off because this chipboard is not cardboard. If you've ever bought chipboard in the scrapbook industry, what they term chipboard is cardboard that has like a sticker on top of it, right? And if you go to the side, you can like pull the pieces apart, and it smells funny. Oh, I hate the way it smells. So that's my little chipboard story. So this chipboard from Brutus Monroe is not cardboard with the sticker on top of it. It is lovely and thin, and it's really, really nice. So if you also are someone who's been like, no chipboard, maybe give this a try. You might be pleasantly surprised by it. I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab just a couple of these. We're going to use 3 large ones and 2 small ones from this chipboard sheet tonight. And it should mostly pop out, but I'm going to go through here because I want to make sure it gets really nice and comes away easily. So I'm using, you can see, I'm sure you can't see on the video, but in person, you can see the little piece where it pops right out. And you can see where it's kind of attached in certain spots, like here, where I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife to cut those little pieces where it's attached still. But these are really, really delicate. So you definitely need to like take your time, be very, very careful with them because you're pulling them away, and you don't, because this isn't layered cardboard, you can easily like snap these little pieces off and have problems. So I'm just going to take my time. The other thing to note, if you do end up going a little too fast and you snap off one of these little coral pieces, don't fret. It is A-okay. I don't know why this one doesn't want to come out. You can just push it all back together when you adhere it to the card. Hi, Alex. Yes, Pam asks if it has that laser woodcut smell. So these do have that laser woodcut smell, which I think just smells like a campfire. That doesn't bother me. Um, the ones I don't like, those ones that are like layered cardboard, those smell like wet cardboard, which I think is the grossest smell. So you have to, as you can probably plainly tell, you have to show this chipboard some love because it is a really, really delicate chipboard. So that's why I'm taking so much time. It is delicate. It doesn't want to just pop out. Some of them will. I think some of these would probably just completely pop out, but I chose these really delicate ones for my project because, I do that. I'm always like, which one is going to be the hardest for me to get out of the packaging? This one. This one will be the hardest. That's the one I'm using. There we go. Hmm. Sorry, I'm focusing very hard on this because I feel like I got the one coral chipboard that decided not to be like cooperative tonight. And of course, I would get the chipboard that doesn't want to be cooperative live, right? Live on national TV. Here we go. Uncooperative chipboard. Hi, Margie. How are you this evening? I got uncooperative chipboard. That's all right, though, because you know what, guys? This is still completely usable chipboard. It just needs an X-Acto knife to help it along here. Totally usable chipboard. So if you get uncooperative chipboard too, accidentally, because I'm sure it's not meant to be this hard to get it off the backer sheet. I'm positive it's not, because I've used it 100 times and it's not, this is the first time I've ever had any problems with any of it. And again, I would get uncooperative chipboard on the live. Of course I would. All right. There we go. So there's our 3 big ones for our project. And then we're going to grab this one right here. Okay, what is going on with this chipboard? There we go. Okay. Thank you. And we'll grab this little one from this one. Okay. So there's our 3 large, 2 small chipboard pieces. Okay. All right. Turn these over. I want to make sure that there's like, yeah, there's a lighter side and a darker side. So I just want to get the right side up. So there's our 5 pieces of chipboard. And just FYI, because these are laser cut, I'm going to grab a baby wipe and wipe my fingers off, because manipulating that chipboard means you get just a bit of soot on your hands from the machine. Comes off so easy with just a baby wipe. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this will take an hour, since, I had uncooperative chipboard. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to add 2 layers of embossing powder to each of these chipboard pieces. So we want 2 white ones, because that will pop right off of our background paper. We want 1 in orange peel, and these 2 small ones are in the jade. Now, for those of you who watch my live every Monday, I have really sad news. My mixed media embossing pad, the one that looks like it's been chewed up, and the one that I should be using for this project, literally the last time I used it for a mixed media project, it crumbled into 1,000 pieces. I can't even complain. It's lasted me a really, really long time, but it has sadly created its last. So we have to use the pristine embossing pad for tonight's live. I will be purchasing a new one now, and then this one can become the eaten one, and the new one will be the one I use for stamps. But just know, I mean, unfortunately, that's what happens when you have an embossing pad that you use strictly for not stamping. Hi, Hi, Jamie. Hi, Margie. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to push each of these lovely little pieces right down into the embossing ink. And then we're going to start with this one. And let me see. I usually have handy a little pair of reverse tweezers, and I forgot to locate them. So let's find the reverse tweezers if they are available to us. And I actually really hate reverse tweezers. They irritate me, but I feel like we need them for this particular thing. And of course, they've ground legs. I agree with Alex. Alex says, I feel like it had a long, full life. It did. It definitely did. Okay. So my advice for embossing something like this, which is not a stamp, is do everything per color because we're going to use multiple colors, right? So we're going to do all the green ones first. And we're going to melt those. And then we'll come in with the next color and the next color. So we're going to start with green. And then no matter what you do, you're going to end up with some green here. So flip this paper over for your next color. And then we'll get a new one for the next color. And this is just printer paper. Yes, the tweezers went AWOL. They grew legs and walked away because of course they did, right? Oh, well. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I heat emboss. So one layer will be fabulous, but 2 layers, especially if you don't touch them before they dry, 2 layers will look better, I promise. So, and don't worry about the powder on my glass mat. I bought a glass mat for a reason, and anything that gets on it, literally anything that gets on it, scrapes right off with the little scraper. So I'm not worried about that. Whenever I give someone a card, I'm always like, it's handmade. And literally, when it comes to me, it literally is handmade because I'm a finger girl. I don't, I like the idea of tools, but I always end up just getting my fingers in there. Like when I use glitter glaze and I just dip my finger right in, make whatever I want glittery. All right, let's do this again. Okay, let's not touch it this time. All right. How are we doing on is it still all broken up? I don't think I can really tell from here if it's broken up or not. All right. So the next one we want to do is our orange one. And I think we'll do this one for the orange one. I think that's a good one. So I just flipped my paper over and then I'll do a completely new sheet of paper for the white. And that way my embossing powders don't get all mixed up. We'll kind of set these two aside. And now we'll do orange. So orange peel, if you've never used it, it's not like neon orange. Just fair warning. Like it's a little bit of like a darker kind of orange. And it doesn't have any glitter. Neither does the jade. These are like the flat embossing powders. Oh, good. Penny says the sound has been fine. How about the video? Is it still all glitchy or is it doing good? Penny's like, the sound has been fine. Your chit chat, I'm not sure about, but the sound is good. All right. So wait a minute. This is the side we want. Make sure you emboss put the ink on the correct side of the chipboard, because there is a right side and a wrong side. Good. Yay. The gremlins have left. Be gone, gremlins. Okay. So, see, definitely handmade card. Literally made it with my hands and then dropped it upside down. And this is why we need reverse tweezers, which grew legs and walked away. Okay. So we're going to put this back in. Set that aside. Before I hit heat here, let's just wipe that up. That seems like a lot of embossing powder. I don't want to scrape off of my glass mat later. There we go. Okay. So in case you're wondering what my idea is here, I am putting my scissors here, right? And then I'm blowing it so the heat goes this way. And that way my heat gun doesn't shoot my chipboard all over my desk. Catch. I think we missed a spot. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you is the difference between one pass with the heat embossed and two passes. See how much smoother doing it that second time. You get like such a nice, almost enamel coat on it. So definitely want to. If you want your embossing powder to be a little more vibrant, if you want it to be pop a little bit more on your chipboard, that's when you want to use gesso, because embossing powder is not, this embossing powder is not translucent, but it's not like the darkness from this chipboard is definitely like coming up through, and it would look different or brighter if I was heat embossing onto, say, a piece that was gessoed or white cardstock, things like that. But you'll see when I put the white on, the white is going to pop because it's not going to take on any of the undertones from the chipboard. Okay. Don't touch it. And I'm going to grab another piece of printer paper, just cut it, fold it in half. So I don't know if you guys can tell this or not, but when we started my live at 8 o'clock, my window, which is right there. So in my scrapbook room, table's there, this really big window is directly in front of me. And the sun was going down, and that sun was coming right through. And now the sun has left. And I don't know if you can tell on camera that that is the case, but if you can, if it suddenly seems darker, that's what it is, because the sun has gone down. I'm going to shut the door because apparently one of my children has an alarm going off and they don't feel the need to go and turn it off. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like Alive is not the place to put on my mean mommy voice and be like hollering at kids, right? Especially when they're man children. Okay. So the last embossing powder that we have is the Alabaster White from Brutus Monroe. This stuff is the best white embossing powder on the market anywhere. It is so fabulous. And part of what makes it fabulous is the fact that it is so white. Like, it is just so white. It's so good. Okay. I just have to do a little shout out because Raven Detail Ink, Alabaster White embossing powder. Those are things that I have been using from Brutus Monroe for a decade. And I'm never disappointed. And I absolutely love it. When I was first part of the design team, it was habit every time I would order. Well, before I was part of the design team, it was habit. Every time I ordered from Brutus Monroe, I would put Not Your Mama's cardstock and alabaster embossing powder in my cart. Like every time I ordered, it didn't matter what I was ordering, why I was ordering. If I was having an order shipped to my house, we were just going to add those two things, because whether I had it or not, whether I had some in my craft room or not, like I knew that having an extra was never a bad thing, right? So after I had been on the design team for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, of course my orders ratcheted up there pretty hefty, right? So I was going through, I gave myself, I bought a craft cart, and the craft cart was going to be um, for all my Brutus Monroe stuff, all of my different mixed media, everything. So I was going through my embossing powders so I could put the Brutus Monroe ones in the cart. And I had a dozen jars, unopened jars of alabaster cardstock, or alabaster embossing powder. Because, as stated previously, every time I would order, it was just second nature. Alabaster embossing powder, Not Your Mom's cardstock. And I was going through the alabaster embossing powder, at a slower pace than I was going through the Not Your Mom's cardstock. So I didn't really notice the Not Your Mom's cardstock, but when I was going through and redoing that little cart, I was like, don't order any alabaster embossing powder for a while. And you'll notice, even though I know I'm going to use it again, and I know I'm going to use it again as soon as I melt this, I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to have to unscrew the lid and screw the lid back on. Yes, every time, because you know what? Too often I have made too big a mess with embossing powder. Everybody still here? Okay. So we're going to let this cool a little bit. And then we're going to put another coat of that white embossing powder on it. And then we can start to put our card together with our bundle. We have one more thing to emboss, and that is our sentiment. Look at how white that is, though. Like, it's so white. I love it. So, so, so white. Oh, That sounds like fun, Candy. Candy says she's consolidating duo foils while I chat away at you. I managed somehow to wrap my heat gun plug around the little holder stand that holds my phone for the recording. So I just had to unwind it. Okay. So here's all our chipboard pieces, embossed and gorgeous and ready to go. We're going to use the coral reef. Thank you, Alex. They are. They do look amazing. They're so pretty. I love them. The coral reef paper collection. It does not matter what pattern you use from here because most of the patterns have orange in them. And they're all like this gorgeous under the sea looking patterns, right? Like they're all made to layer things on top of. So it really doesn't matter. We could use any of them. I'm going to go ahead and flip through, I think, all of them. I love this one with the sunken ships in the background. That one is so cool. I want to do something with those sunken, like make those sunken ships more prominent. I love this one too. That one's beautiful. And this one has a whole bunch of orange in it. So this is the one I used on the example card. So we'll use that one. And then it repeats. And I say this all the time on my YouTube channel when it comes to Brutus Monroe papers. I absolutely love that there are four of these, four of each of these designs. So, and that is awesome if you are a 12 by 12 scrapbooker because that means you can have like a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper and you can get your 4 patterns and you have lots of pattern paper then to like cut and match and you can create with, and you're not running out of that one pattern that you want to use for multiple things on your page. So I love that. Super, super usable. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm kind of centering the little open area in the pattern. Don't have to at all. I just felt like that open area was real nice to put some of these coral pieces on. So I'm going to start with the orange one that goes right in the middle. All my glue press girls. Yes, please. This is such a good use for the glue press with the little fine tip on it. So I'm lining this up about halfway, right along the bottom of the card. Because remember, this card panel is cut a little smaller than a typical 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, right? So we're going to have a white border under here. So we can go ahead and put the chipboard right down, right along the bottom. And then when we create the card, we'll have this. There'll be a gap. So then we're going to go ahead and do one of the white corals on this side, one of the white corals on this side. And what you want to do for these is to line them up towards the side, because we're going to put the green ones in the middle and the green ones are going to bridge the gap that's there between the white and the orange. I hope that makes sense. I would not recommend putting the coral so it goes off the edge, because cutting it, you know, so that it looks like it keeps going on into eternity, cutting it, it's going to be hard, very hard. Don't do it. So just little dots of blue. And then this one over on this side. And I'm giving them a little push down so that the glue can catch the pattern paper. And adhere, good. Go. Then our last little one here. And we're going to put that one in between these two. And then it'll fill up, like it's going to fill all the way across the bottom. And yes, you can glue the chipboard on top of the embossing, the one below, and it'll be just fine. Okay. Uh-oh, looks like we... Houston! Am I back? Looks like we froze. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Oh, I froze again. Okay. So there are those. So there are those chipboard pieces right on top of the pattern paper. How pretty is that? Like, see how it just like, it like just seamlessly goes in there. Okay. Next thing we want to do is we want a little bit of our sentiment. So I'm going to cut, this is just a scrap of Raven cardstock. We're going to use our pristine embossing pad for what it's actually used for. And I'm going to wait a minute here, because this is the last part of our card and I don't want to mess it. I don't want you guys to miss this part. So whoop. Okay, it looks like I'm back again now, and it's not jumpy or being silly anymore. Go away, gremlins. Okay. So I am going to use my magic powder tool, and I'm going to be nice and liberal with this. I'm going to pop it all over here because I don't want errant embossing powder, right? We saw how like white the chipboard is, right? Like it's so white. Oh, good. I didn't freeze. Well, I don't know. My laptop says I was freezing all over the place. So, okay. Well, so we see how white that chipboard is, right? Okay, so I want this sentiment to be crisp and clean and white, and I don't want any errant embossing powder. So this Under the Sea stamp set is one of my absolute favorites. So it was from last year. I have put it into like 3 different bundles since I started doing these bundles. I've put it into other projects. Like it's my favorite Under the Sea stamp set. I think it is so cute and so big. Like there's so many different things you can do. So no one yelled at me, so I put it in another bundle. Shh. And I'm only going to use this little Sending Oceans of Love stamp because I feel like that is like the most perfect sentiment for this little card, right? It's like a whole undersea scene we have going on. So I'm going to put my Sending Oceans of Love onto that black cardstock, and I am putting it justified to the left because that's how I'm going to put it onto my card, right? We're going to cut the rest of this off at a jaunty angle, but for now, I'm going to wipe off my stamp because, and I'm just going to use a baby wipe because my lovely little British Monroe microfiber cloth is in the wash. So sometimes they need washed. I don't know what to tell you, but I want to go ahead and get the powder from the powder bag off the stamp set there. What I also think is really cool about the powder bag is I put lots of it on there so that we really don't have any errant embossing powder, but also you can really see when you do it that way if you got all the little bits or if you need to stamp again, because it makes an impression in the powder. It's like a little cheat. Make very sure it's exactly the way you want it. All right. Hi, Chrissy. How are you tonight? So lovely to see you. Okay, thanks, Candy. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on there. And then I'm even going to like flick it a little bit from the back just to make sure that there is no errant powder where I don't want it. And then it just pops. So here's a little trick for you. I'm going to wait just a minute, let this dry. So this is one of the stencil cleaning rags, towels from Brutus Monroe. So it comes with all the other stencil cleaning kit pieces, and it works fabulously for wiping and drying off your stencil after you've dipped it and cleaned it and everything. But it also, added bonus, me too. Chrissy said she's hot. Me too. Me too. Added bonus, it is fabulous for buffing off the powder from the magic powder tool, magic powder bag. Like it is fabulous. Just takes all that powder and makes it disappear if you don't catch it like I just did. So how cool is that? And this is going to be the last part of our card before we put it onto a card base. I forgot to grab a card base, but that's okay. I will add this to a card base a little bit later. And just line it right up there. And then when you put it onto a card base, it will look like this. And remember what I said we cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And on this example one, this is another reason I wanted to show you. So this is different pieces from the coral. So you have 2 different options for different pieces from the coral. Also, this one, the black strip goes all the way across. And this one, I cut a little bit of it at a jaunty angle. So that can be another way that you can change it up or create a different type of scene. You could also do a different background paper, all that kind of fun stuff, and have lots of different options. And I feel like this sentiment from this 4x6 stamp set could be used for anything, any event, anything. And then all you would have to do is just flip it open, and then you could on the inside stamp any kind of sentiment or anything. So there is our card project for tonight. We actually did get to 9 o'clock because I took my time and was slow and chatty and told you stories and all those fun kinds of things. That's okay, though. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you, Penny. Yes, this, by the way, this card design here, I have all of the card designs done for June. And for the June products, and all the different cards I made, this is my favorite. This is my favorite one. This is the one that I looked at and was like, this is a Sara card. Like, this is just, I love it. Love it so much. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Stay nice and cool. I will see you next week. Good night.